And this here is Spectrum. We're doing a bunch of work in the shop there. And look at this beauty. Big 389 hood. Stefan was saying this guy just bought it and he's bringing it in to polish. But check these out. So these are the Kenworth tanks that I had polished up. You remember what they looked like before. And like I say, we just can't afford new tanks right now. So we'll polish these up, make them look as good as we can, and slap them on the truck. Now they just look like mirrors. Obviously there's still a little bit of pitting, but that'll get covered up with the bands. And they're not perfect. I mean, they got a little bit of wear and tear on them, but look at the mirror. You can see the truck in the background. So we'll zip these home and get them mounted on the truck.
Bandit, you're reckless and you live much too hard. I'll be in Nashville.
Jerry, he's so full of energy. My gosh, he's full of energy. And man, could he play guitar. And he could write. He could write anything. You know, he wrote Eastbound and Down in about an hour. And I just thought he'd be fantastic. And I liked him enormously.
Hey, want a beer? Well, son.
All right, so first off, what I want to do is get rid of these old fuel lines. They're all frayed and pretty vintage. So that's the feed, and then that's the return to the main tank. So we'll take those off of there, and then we'll zip over to Green Line and get some new ones made. Yeah, these guys are awesome. Even open on Saturday. So I was just looking at the catalog. I'm gonna have to get some heater hose for the other projects, for LBL, Snowman, and Iron Duke. Wow, that's gonna add up in a hurry. There, shiny new line, greasy old fittings. Why? Because these projects are flipping expensive, and you got to save a buck everywhere you can. And all these actual fittings are they're definitely reusable. They're just a little, like I say, a little greasy, but they'll still work. But I wanted to replace the line. And then I was looking at this little short guy that goes to this T, and I thought, well, since I'm in here, I had to take this T out of here to actually get enough torque on this nut to break it free. So I figured, well, since I'm in here, I might as well replace this line. I've got some new lines, so we can just manufacture a new one of these to go from there to there. And then we'll put the fat fuel line that goes from the feed to here to the filter mount. We'll put a new filter in, and then we'll send that one back to the tank. So coming together. Perfect, now we can put the ends on. So I like to clean the ends up so they're a little tapered, so I just use this. And cleaned up all the little frayed pieces. And then you fill the vise. And the way these fittings works is they're a two-piece deal. And the first half goes on backwards. There's backwards threads in there. You've been watching these videos for a while now. You'll have seen me do this before. I did a lot of these lines on the peat. And sometimes they're a little tricky to get started. But once they're going, they're not too bad. The guy at Green Line there was complaining. He said he hates making these lines, especially the bigger ones. And I could see why. Okay. Yeah, that's going on there, not too bad. Tighten it down until it's snug. And you put the second little section in there. And that's correct threads clockwise to tighten. I'm gonna hold this with the wrench. There, that seems tight. And there you go. One reusable flared end.
Basically peach and cake.
As I was going in and out of here, I noticed this. Check that out. An old rusty nail. Who knows how long it's been jammed in this tire. But I have to believe though, that it doesn't go through the deeper than the tread, because if it would have pierced the tube, you'd think that it wouldn't hold air. But either way, I got to get rid of these and get some decent 10R22 steers. Now I have to give a shout out to the YouTube fans. When I first brought these home, I was looking for tires and I got so many links and so many leads on tires. A lot of them fell flat. They don't make them anymore, or the companies used to make them and they just can't get them in stock. But there was one company out of the States, I forget the name, but I called them and I said how much to ship me a couple tires to Canada, and by the time I paid the import duties and the currency conversion and the shipping, they were almost $1,000 a tire, which is absolutely insane. So I guess I'm gonna have to keep on the hunt for some decent 10R22s north of the border.
Fan to keep me cool while I sleep. Reach it, baby. A little baby boy to play around at his feet. I'm a rambler and I'm a gambler and I lead every line. I tell you folks I'm ragged, but I'm right. Hey, son.
There, the only thing I need to get is a couple new bands, because I zip cut through the old ones. That's no big deal. We'll get that fixed. Now I have to say that Cat has a better system than Cummins. Cat's got a plunger type system to prime the system when you change either a fuel line or a fuel filter or a tank or whatever, and you can actually just hand pump and cycle fluid through the system to get rid of any air and have lots of diesel right at the pump for when you go and try and start it. Whereas Cummins, they didn't go with such a slick system. So one of the fans out there sent me a page out of the Cummins manual, and this is actually the port here for priming. So when we finally get the batteries in it and the fuel tank on, what we're gonna do is take this plug out of here and just drip a little bit or pour a little bit of diesel in there. And I think what happens is it's enough just to get the motor to turn over, and then hopefully it sucks through. Now I did fill up the filter with diesel. I know you're not supposed to do that because it might not be perfectly clean. It actually goes through the filter side and then up through the center and then into the engine. But I didn't want to have to try and continue to prime it a little bit at a time and have it suck new fluid all the way from the tank and then fill up this filter as well. So we're kind of cheating a little, but I think this old Cummins will be fine. Okay, on to the next thing. So I've been finishing up some work from a few episodes ago. I was short a few of the plugs for the tanks, and I had a couple air lines to finish up, and I finally went and bought the pieces that I need. So let's give some shop air here to my anti-smoke valve and see if it holds air. Oh, missed one. That's why we do the test. Okay, take two. Oh. We're getting some service in the front. Service rear is a building though. Wonder what's up there. And still needs to fill. Oh, I think I hear another leak. Looks like we'll be chasing these for a little while until we get this right. Okay, seems to be holding there now. Just under 90. Must have done something right. So I was just trying to chase a few leaks here, and I heard a little bit of a hiss from this relay. Oh yeah, there we go. Guess I didn't tighten that nut enough. Okay, so I got that fixed now, and it's not leaking anymore. But what I noticed was, when I would step on the brakes, I would lose air pressure way too fast. I mean, one stop and you're going to lose all your air. So decided to use my rock helper here to apply the brakes in my absence. If I can make it work. There we go. You can hear it leaking out from somewhere. Just trying to, the relays. Oh, wait, there it is. I forgot to put a plug in. Well, nobody's perfect, folks. At least that was easy to find. So hopefully this system seals up now. Okay, let's go give that a try. Oh, and it holds air and you apply. Oh, beauty. Fixed. Looks like we got brakes.
You know, you make a choice to win, and you win.
So I'm just off to get some parts that I need, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna grab one of these coolant filters and replace this one. And first I noticed that's probably not good. And then I wondered, is coolant gonna leak out of here when I take this off? Oof, probably not. Yeah, that thing probably wasn't doing its job. Corrosion inhibitor. Yeah. So earlier today I was out running around getting some parts that I needed, bolts and some other goodies to put the sleeper on, to put the fuel tanks on. And as I was at the bolt warehouse there, I'm standing in line and they had a display of raw material, just straight stock and bar stock and some angle iron and angle aluminum. And so I saw these two little pieces of angle aluminum. They were 3 foot lengths, 1 inch, and I thought, you know what, that would make a pretty slick transition between the door opening and the rubber floor, and it'd be a lot cheaper than the stainless steel strip that I used on the Pete. So I took them up to the till, and the nice lady there said they were, I think, $7-8 each. They were pretty cheap. And so I brought it home here and I knocked about 6 inches off, and I'm just doing a final fit up. But as you can see, it's a pretty darn nice transition. So what I'll probably do is we'll drill a few holes and put some screws in, and it'll screw into the wood floor and hold it in place. And I'll probably also, I'll take it out of here one last time and I'll paint it black, because it'll match. There's not a lot of aluminum, and it would, I think black will match better and not stand out so much, but that's pretty slick. So for under 20 bucks, we got 2 transitions. Score. Just clean up these brackets and give them a quick coat of paint. And what these do is they go down here like so, and then what happens is the strap comes around the tank and then it bolts through like that. But then when I took this apart last fall, there were these nice aluminum steps that were on this truck. So this must have been an option at the time, which is kind of practical because you can step up and get up to the deck without too much trouble. And I've even seen some trucks have a second step where the strap will come around and have a little jut out there for a second step to make it even easier to get in there. But I went and looked at a clip from the movie, and of course the movie truck didn't have these. It was a pretty plain Jane truck. In the spirit of making it movie correct, we're going to go ahead and delete these, as nice as they are, but who knows, maybe we can use them on the Duke. So we'll keep those around just in case. Okay, so next step before we actually put the tank in place is you have to have some sort of material that isolates the soft aluminum tank from these harsh steel brackets. So I get what's called fuel tank webbing. Now this stuff's a little more money. I know some guys out there will they'll cut down an old inner tube and just lay a strip of rubber in there, or maybe an old trailer strap and lay that in. But the problem with that is it can move around on you when you go and set the tank in place. And I like this stuff because it's actually got a sticker backing. So when you go to put it in place there, it'll stay exactly where you want it, and it won't move when you go and set the tank down. So we'll cut this in half, comes into 7-foot sections. We should just be able to put 2 3.5 sections on there, and then we'll get that tank and we'll set it in place and see what it looks like.
Hey, where'd you find him? Tell me about it now. You know, when I got married.
Man, that looks good. Okay, so next we got to put the straps on to hold the tank from flying off when you go around a corner. And I was having a heck of a time trying to find movie correct straps. The ones at the wreckers were either stainless steel or they had the little triangle for that upper step mount that I was talking about earlier, and they just weren't going to work. So I went to Kenworth and priced up 4 new ones, and you don't want to know what Kenworth was asking for that. So I was a bit of a standstill on tank straps until I got this email from a fan, and she said she's got her own manufacturing shop. Her name's Dawn Gratz, and it's Gratz Manufacturing. And she said if there's ever anything you need that you can't buy or can't find or just can't get, let me know and I'll help you out. So Mrs. Twinsticks and I went out to her shop and she gave us a tour, and it's just an awesome facility. They got just about everything you could ever need to manufacture anything made out of metal. And I took her the old rusty tank strap and she looked at it and said, "Oh, this will be nothing." So they cut the steel out on her table. And then as you can see, look how the end product turned out. They actually welded a tube on there, and then she said she couldn't find long enough fine thread, so they used a U-bolt, cut up a U-bolt and welded that on there. And then she had them sandblasted and powder coated. And to be honest, I think they turned out better than anything you can get from Kenworth. So thanks again, Dawn. Really grateful for that. And then the last piece of the puzzle here is these rubber isolating straps. Same idea as the ones used underneath. And what it's going to do there is make sure that the steel strap doesn't cut into the aluminum tank. So we'll go ahead and get those rubber straps mounted, and we'll bolt these in place, and this tank should be just about ready to go.
I knew I'd settle down, not really, build myself a little love nest in this South Georgia town. Now I got a family, one that I'm proud of, but you know I'm happy mostly because I'm singing with my hero. Well, a big electric fan to keep me cool while I sleep. Oh, yeah. A little baby girl to play around at his feet. I'm a rambler, and I'm a gambler, and I lead every life. I tell you folks I'm ragged, but I'm right. I tell you folks I'm ragged.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Let's do the same thing on the other side.
Ever give Jam a nose his name? They swear he got ice water running in his veins. A foot like lead and nerves like steel. He's gonna go to glory riding 18 wheels. Oh boy, he left Atlanta back in '63, hauling him a load up to Tennessee. He hit Mount Eagle in a driving rain, so hard he couldn't even see the passing lane. Well, he started down the grade when he lost it.
No matter how many projects I do on these old trucks, it still amazes me that no matter how long the first side takes, usually when you do the second side, it goes twice as fast. I don't know if it's because you're more confident or more practiced or you know what you're doing, but either way, it always goes faster the second time. So anyway, that's looking pretty sharp. I'm very happy with that. And even those door transitions turned out not too bad. I still got to screw them down, but that's looking good. So yeah, pretty happy with the way that turns out, as I always say. We still got a long way to go, but we'll get there on this old Project Snowman. Maybe next episode we'll hook up those new fuel lines and throw some batteries in there and see if we can't make some smoke again.
Nice ass.